Hello YouTube, how is everyone doing? It's Professional here. Welcome back to my playthrough of Apollo Justice the Ace Attorney Trilogy. I hope that you guys are enjoying this. So anyways, let's continue from where we left off. I'm sorry I haven't had a part in a few days. It's been so busy with a few things. But I'm going to try to have a part out every day, so let's continue off here. I know a lot of you guys have been asking for the next part, and a lot of you guys are really curious how this trial is going to go and what's going to happen. Okay, so where exactly does this leave us, Apollo? Well, the Drew Misham, who was killed, wasn't Drew Misham, the forger, basically. Huh? Well, then who was he? Well, he was actually... Vera. Doing her nails. So you really made those forgeries. Yes. Her father. I know it was wrong. Could you tell us how it happened? My father was a painter. I loved painting ever since I was a child. One day, father saw it in me. He saw that I had the talent. The talent for making forgeries? How should I say it? It was not only paintings I made. Given the materials, I could make anything. Anything. Father was so proud, and I so happy. But, in the end, I was making those forgeries. I've never had a good constitution, nor personality. I know very little of the world outside my door. Now, because of me, Father is... Do you know about this red envelope? I remember that envelope. It was some time ago. So you were already you were already creating your works back then. I started when I was only 12 years old. So the one who figured out the stamp was poisoned, that was... Mr. Justice, it's time. To the courtroom, please. Right. Out of time. Wait, Vera, just one more thing, please. Those 3 paintings in the studio. I painted those as part of my work. Right. See, we checked them out and we saw what was underneath. We saw the rough sketches underneath the 3 finished paintings. Why did she paint that? I see. Mr. Justice. Yes? Father, he knew of you. Of both of you. Your late father? He was watching, gathering information. All about the Wright & Co. law offices. Why? But lately, we're not doing just law. Yes, you do tricks, gags to amuse and play piano. Well, they're not really gags. Yet, when Father heard you had resumed the legal business, how pleased he was. Who was Mr. Misham? How am I supposed to know? What if he was Daddy's daddy? Judging from the relative ages involved, I'd say it's highly unlikely. Things are already confusing enough with all these daddies running around. We know that the victim's daughter, Vera, was the forger. What does this mean for the case? Guess we're about to find out. Yeah, and why did she paint those paintings on the other murders? October 8, 1:36 p.m. District Court, courtroom number 3. Okay. Court is now back in session. Vera seems pretty tense. She's practically chewing her fingernails clean off. Perhaps you could begin by telling us how it all worked. How do you set up this Drew Misham forger persona? There's that stare again. She's drilling more holes into his head. I know it's hard for you, but hey, he's a handsome guy. What's hard? Very well, miss, if you would. Did you really make those detestable forgeries? Perhaps you'd rather answer my question. Were you the one who painted that painting, the remarkably similar one? Yes. I painted it, yes. Father praised me quite highly for it. So, she was the one who made the forgeries. Yet, she did not wish to reveal the truth of their operation. So the victim was a stand-in, a decoy. To the world at large, he was the forger, not her. I've done a bad thing. I have, haven't I? Regardless, we need a little more information. About, for instance, this. You have seen this before, yeah? Yes. It was in the desk drawer. Very well. You may proceed with your testimony. Tell us everything you know about this envelope. Let's see, I'm curious where that envelope came from. And how did she know it was poisoned? I created things and Father sold them. This envelope came after my first work that was other than a painting. Father handled the deal, all of it. I received the stamp that was in that envelope. It was after that job that we moved to the current studio. There certainly was much of great interest in your testimony. Not that the witness realizes it. Very well. Please begin the cross-examination. Right, okay. I need more information about this forger. This Vera Misham. I created things and Father sold them. So these things you were making are... You mean paintings identical to other paintings, right? The closer they were, the happier Father was. I was happy too. Still, you're quite young now. When did you begin this work? My first painting sold when I was 12. Your Honor, she had no idea what she was doing was illegal. Easy there, little attorney. You're not here to defend her for the crime of forgery. True. Please tell us more about this envelope. This envelope that may very well have killed your father. Alright. So, here's the thing about this is, it's entirely possible that the forgery stuff, that it actually might not be used against her, because how old is she? I think she's 18, which 18 would be a legal adult, but if she was making the forgeries at 12 years old, a 12-year-old would still not be able to, I would say a 12-year-old would still not be able to fully comprehend everything that's going on. I think that her father was pressuring her to make those forgeries. If that's the case, chances are she probably would not get prosecuted for a majority of that because her father's putting her under duress to make those forgeries. This envelope came after my first work that was other than a painting. By other than a painting, you mean you'd only done paintings up to that point. Yes. But Father had a realization. He noticed my talent extended to making things other than paintings. For instance, a letter someone had written, or a fingerprint left upon a cup, or a signature on a document, a seal upon a letter. Oh, none of this makes her sound very innocent at all. And the 100,000 promised this letter was the start. The beginning of a new industry for Vera Misham. A new industry. The creation of items to be used in criminal proceedings. Forging evidence, in other words. Uh-oh. Father handled the deal, all of it. So, you didn't know how the things you were making were being used. I enjoy painting very much. I think I understand. The Fraulein has lived in an unusual little world. Can you tell us what happened to the papers that were in this envelope? Father signed them and sent them back, I believe. Did he follow the instructions? Send in the enclosed envelope with the enclosed stamp. This is a rather important matter. Give your answer some thought. I received the stamp that was in that envelope. What do you mean, you received it? Did I do something wrong? You didn't use that stamp because it was dangerous, correct? Deadly poison on the back. Atrocanine. A moment, her forehead. You can't force an answer upon the witness. Now then, perhaps, you would tell me, Fraulein Vera. Why did you receive this stamp? Is something wrong? It was beautiful. Ah, you mean it was one of those commemorative stamps? Yes, I think it was. So, you didn't know about the poison? I guess not. So the trap failed by chance, by mistake. Thanks to this commemorative stamp. Quite the close call. So she didn't use the poison stamp because she thought it was poison, but because she liked how it looked. It was after that job that we moved to the current studio. You mean you moved to where the current Drew studio is? Yes, we saw very few people there. I began drawing picture books. This single job had tied them to the criminal underworld. I think Mr. Misham wished to reduce their visibility in the world at large. When we had to meet someone for some reason, Father posed as the creator of the work. So that was the real essence of the artist Drew Misham. You did the work and he supplied the face. So, you really didn't know anything, did you? You had no idea how much danger you were in. Apparently not. About this commemorative stamp, could you tell us more about it? It was very pretty, and more than that. Yes? It was a picture of people I liked at the time. This is something new. Apparently, we've got some cross-examination yet ahead of us. If you would be so kind as to continue your testimony, Fraulein. The stamp was a picture of my favorite magician, so I kept it. Magicians? Magicians? I love mysterious things. I always have. Even though she fainted when she saw Mr. Hat. You're confusing mysterious and freaky. Father took me when I was very young. It was a great magic show. I loved it so much. See? Isn't magic great? Fine, great, yeah. Yeah, sure, no need to get all excited. This is not a coincidence. Now, here's the thing. In law enforcement, when I studied law enforcement in school, there was one thing that I was taught that I never forgot, and that was in law enforcement, there is no such thing as coincidence. And that's the case, is there is no such thing as coincidence in this too, is that the magicians are on the stamp. And what is it? That 7 years ago, she had gotten that envelope 7 years ago with the poison stamp on it with the magicians. 7 years ago, Trucy's father was also murdered, who was a magician. The stamp was magicians on it. I don't think this is a coincidence. But the magic troupe we saw disbanded soon after. I was quite sad. Yeah, that's because Trucy's father died. Did she just say what I think she said? Magic troupe. Now, where have I heard that before? The red envelope came after she completed her first job. That makes it a letter from her client, whoever wanted a forgery made. Apollo! We're close. We just have to piece together the parts. A deadly weapon in a red envelope. And the path it took to take Drew Misham's life. Valid grammar. I wonder if this will work. Objection! Oh, it worked. Those magicians you liked. Was it this bunch? Apollo, they're not a bunch. I see. Still, I have to wonder. Why include a commemorative stamp like that in a business letter? Good question. Well, pretty stamps are always better, and you can't beat true grammary. But the whole murder plan was a failure because of it. Ironic, don't you think? Prosecutor Gavin? What's wrong? Prosecutor Gavin? Grammary. What's with Gavin? Might I ask just one question of this witness? In your testimony just now, you stated, this was your first work that was other than a painting. Please tell me. What exactly did you make? Can I ask why? No. Answer the question. Now. Eek. Prosecutor Gavin, you're usually not the one whose volume concerns me. Yes, it is unbecoming of me, I apologize. But, I must know, please, Miss Misham, tell me. It was a book. A single page in a book. A book. Please be more specific. It was a handwritten book. Like a diary. No, I don't know. What's going on right now? Did he work at a case or something concerning this book? What just happened? What's going on? What's wrong with Prosecutor Gavin? He looks like he just saw a ghost. Miss Misham, this book. Was there a picture of a silk hat on the back cover? Yes or no? How did you know? Prosecutor Gavin, the defendant is answering all of your questions. Stop badgering her. He's told you nothing, has he? Your soiled, sullied mentor, nothing. Sullied who? Phoenix Wright. Who else? Daddy? He never told you about the trial 7 years ago. Wait, so because Phoenix supposedly forged evidence 7 years ago about how he came to lose his attorney's badge. It was a certain piece of evidence that decided his fate, you know. A certain diary. On the back, it bore the mark of a silk hat. What? Phoenix Wright tossed out of the profession by false evidence, and the forger who made that evidence. Is this girl standing right in front of me? This is not a coincidence. This whole thing that happened, this is not a coincidence. And that Phoenix wanted us to take this case. Vera, you must tell us. The evidence you made was used in a trial 7 years ago. Who asked Drew Misham you to forge that evidence? For all of our sakes. Who was it? We only met once. You met the client. Well, who was it? It was... What's going on with Vera? She's staring at Prosecutor Gavin's face again. Yes, what? Is there something about me? I remember clearly. I remember who gave me the book, the diary. Who was it? I think it was Kristoff, because she's looking at Gavin like she's seeing a ghost. But Kristoff is Gavin's evil twin brother. Ah. Vera. The devil. Defendant Vera Misham, condition unconscious. Examiner's diagnosis acute atrocanine poisoning. She's poisoned? How did she get poisoned? What? This ends the recording of the trial for the murder of Drew Misham. Vera Misham was during the trial poisoned by an unknown assailant. The dosage was just under the lethal amount, sparing the defendant's life. How did she get poisoned? She is currently in intensive care and is not to be disturbed for any reason. A very simple case at first glance, until it finally began to show its true colors. The long road to the truth takes us to the record of another trial. In some ways, that was the starting point of it all. And that is where we must go. To find the whole truth. To be continued. Well, we're gonna continue on here, because I don't want to make this a 19-minute part. Usually our parts for this game are a lot longer. So yeah, let's just keep going here. Showdown time. I lost. It's only a game of poker. A game I've played for a long time, and only lost twice. Who was the first? The man I killed, of course. Well, it seems I found the partner I've been looking for all along. Over a game of cards? Why, yes, over a game of cards. So that's Phoenix, and then who is that on the right side? Is that Gremory? That was how we first met. 7 years ago. Seven years earlier, Phoenix Wright's final trial. April 19, 9:27 a.m. District Court, defendant, lobby number 2. Woo, okay. It's been a long time since I felt like such a rookie. Gotta try and relax. Ah, good morning, Mr. Enigmar. So yeah, this is the old Ace Attorney music that's playing right here. This is from the original game, so you're playing as Phoenix again. I'm sorry to have sprung this on you so suddenly. So is this Trucy's father, this guy? I received the files from your previous attorneys only yesterday. Honestly, I'm not entirely sure I'm prepared. I understand I'm asking the impossible of you. Yes, well, you haven't really told me what happened yet. All we did was play cards. And that was enough. Actually, it wasn't. Trust me. Oh, morning, Daddy. Ah, I'm so glad you came. You okay, Daddy? They picking on you. Ha 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 ha. I'm fine as always, so this is Trucy's father. This old boy is here to help me after all. That young man to you. That's young man to you. Good morning. That's a cute outfit you have on. Thanks. My first show's today after all. Oh, I'm sure it is. What the heck is she talking about? Oh, old boy. Huh, me? Look what he started. Here. It seems fate's clock will make me wait a little longer. At least, only less than 10 swift minutes remain. To all those who have supported me in my life's work, I give thanks. Farewell. Magnifi, Gremory, what's this? I don't know, I just got it over there in the hall. They told me to give it to the old boy in the blue suit with the spiky hair. They said it was really important. What's this? A memo for you or some such? Not from the looks of it. What is this? Looks like a page from someone's diary. I'll give it a read later. Mysterious paper received just before trial. Well, how do you feel about the trial today? Crime scene photo. Body found in the hospital, shot in the head. The clown was shot too. That's strange. Single gunshot wound. It seems fate's clock will make me wait a little longer. At least only less than 10 swift minutes remain. To all those who have supported me in my life's work, I give thanks. Farewell. Magnifi, Gremory. We'll get through it. Somehow. Incidentally, the prosecutor today is a new guy, I hear. Ah, an easy win then, yes? They're calling him a thoroughbred in the history of the prosecutor's office. Of course, there's one of those every year. The switching of attorneys just before the trial. I know it is a difficult situation I put you in, but allow me to say one thing, Mr. Wright. Yes? They will not be able to pronounce me guilty today. So do your best, but do not worry. First time a defendant's ever given me a pep speech. I'll do what I can. Ha ha ha. I see you do not understand. You see, it will be impossible for them to declare a verdict. Impossible? Yes. Isn't that right, Trucy? Yup, you bet, Daddy. My first look at the case was only yesterday, and the information I was given was a tad bit lacking, to be honest. Still, I'll do what I can, for their sake. I believe the curtains will be lifting any time now. I'm in your capable hands, Mr. Wright. My client is Shady Enigmar. Shady Enigmar? And the other guy who died was Shady Smith, known to the world as Zach Gremory. A wildly popular magician, star of troupe Gremory. His mentor, Magnifi was a rare breed of magician. He single-handedly ushered in a golden age of state magic until he was shot dead. And Zach Gramarye is the suspect. April 19, 10 a.m., District Court. Courtroom number 7. Court is now in session for the trial of Shady Enigmar. The defense is ready, Your Honor. I wonder if his name Enigmar is a reference to the Enigma machine in World War II. It was like a code-breaking machine, basically. Is the prosecution ready? I was just thinking, is this what all the fuss is about? Bit of a buzzkill, really. Buzzkill? Is this some new kind of crime? One of the worst. This is a trial, yeah? Where are the sweaty palms, the pounding hearts? The Governor's concert got 10 times the thrill this gig's got. Who were you again? Clavier Gavin. I came to get the party started legally, yeah? Gavin, defense attorney Christoph, Gavin's... figures my bro's more famous in this part of town. Clavier Gavin. Lead singer for the mega hit band, the Gaviners. You're out of your league, rock boy. I know what you're thinking. You're out of your league, rock boy. True, my debut, a single, 13 years, hard time for my love, went platinum overnight. But that's just a hobby to me compared to this, yeah? Talkative, aren't you? I like your affected Euro rock accent, by the way. I'm just getting warmed up. Her attorney, right? Perhaps you would be so kind as to fill us in on the case. Octoon, baby. Time to call in the opening act. What was his name again? Ah, yes, Detective Gumshoe. Hit it. Oh, Gumshoe. We're gonna see Gumshoe again. Oh, yes, haven't seen Gumshoe in a long time. I played the original games, but I never played Apollo. Yeah, Gumshoe is a detective that was in the first 3 Phoenix Wright games. Gumshoe is not a corrupt detective. He's generally a good guy. He has a good heart, but he's a bit of an idiot at times. He's kind of stupid. Hey, you were the one who called me up here, sir. Name's Dick Gumshoe. I'm a homicide detective down at the precinct. Detective Gumshoe, a long time no see. Hey, you. Uh-huh, me. Today's the day, pal. Today I win and you lose. I got confidence in my testimony today, see? What? You normally lack confidence in your testimony. Or detective, this is my stage. Can they add ticks? Huh? All this hey you-ing and such, and I could care less about your history together. Ugh. Very well, Detective Gumshoe, if you would, please tell us about the case at hand. It happened 6 days back in a room at the General Hospital. The facts are as simple as they come. Here's the crime scene. The victim was a patient asleep in a hospital bed. The killer comes in, puts a pistol to his forehead, and bam, lights out. Them's the facts. Not so long ago, the victim Magnifi was a famous man. He had the entire country under his magical spell, as it were. Ah yes, the great magician. He retired years ago, though. Say the name Magnifi to one of my generation and you'd be lucky to get a blank stare. Yes, though I'm sure the youngsters today know his disciples even better. I dare say Troop Gramarye has made quite a name for themselves. Anyhow, the retired Magnifi's been in the hospital for the last year. What was it? A mall ignorant tutor or something? Doing something to his liver, I think. Yeah. A malignant tumor, perhaps. In other words, he had liver cancer. He had only 3 months left to live, in fact. Diagnosed with malignant tumor given 3 months. That's kind of strange. If he was gonna die in 3 months, why would somebody go to the trouble of killing him? That's kind of strange right away. Patient's name, Magnifi Gramarye, age 67, male. Malignant tumor in liver has progressed to final stage with no hope of recovery. Patient has 3 months to live. Patient has chronic diabetes, requires regular insulin. The facts do seem simple enough, but something's not right. The victim was already climbing a 3-month stairway to heaven. Why not wait for him to knock on heaven's door? Why shoot him? I wouldn't have put it quite so lyrically, but it's true. Why make the effort to commit murder when the victim was about to die? Incidentally, the victim had a serious case of diabetes. In fact, he was about to shoot up with insulin when he was shot with a pistol. The syringe was found at the crime scene. chronic diabetes, and cancer. As much as it pains me to say it, the victim was clearly at the end of his life. Used for administering insulin shot has been washed and shows no sign of use. I believe the question before us is clear, then. I always hated getting shots. I guess Magnifi was giving himself the insulin shots. There's no way I could do that, Shudder. Wait. If Magnifi used this to inject his insulin, why are there no traces of it having been used? Something to keep in mind. So he didn't use the insulin. Why did the killer have to shoot this dying man? What reason could he have had? Very well, detective. Perhaps you can enlighten us to the circumstances of the shooting. Yes, sir. Actually, the victim kind of ordered the defendant to do him in. A few days before it happened, the victim sent a letter ordering his own murder. I love how they have the old Ace Attorney music on this, too. The defendant did what was asked of him, and shot the old man in the forehead. The bullet was fired from the pistol found at the scene, no doubt about it. And the pistol definitely belonged to the old man, sir. What? You're saying the victim ordered his own shooting? Those are the facts. I have here the letter in question. To my beloved student Zach, to you I entrust the task of lowering my life's curtain. I just letter asking Zach to shoot him. Very unusual indeed. To my beloved student Zach, to you I entrust the task of lowering my life's curtain. Come on the 13th, 11:05 p.m. I will ready a gun with whom you will shoot one shot square in the forehead. You cannot refuse, and we both know the reason why. Magnifi Grammary. Now, here's the thing is, situations like this have actually happened in real life. We don't know if this is actually what happened in this case, but there have been cases where somebody has asked somebody else to kill them, and they've done it. Now, the question is that murder? Because murder is when you plan to kill somebody, but if somebody wants to be killed, is that really murder? That's a really, really gray area. That's about it. Different people would interpret that in different ways. But I remember there was a case once where there was this girl, and she basically wanted this other guy in her town. It was like a small town, I remember, to kill her, and he shot her with a shotgun. And the police at first thought that the guy was, like, lying, that he wasn't telling the truth. But then when they interviewed multiple people about that, they actually found out that it was pretty much the truth from what happened. I don't know what ended up happening to that guy. I think that guy did serve some time in prison, but he definitely did not get a life sentence. I don't think he even got a decade in prison. I think he got less than that. But, you know, that's a very, very strange and, very strange situation. But anyways, to my beloved student Zach, to you I entrust the task of lowering my life's curtain. Come on the 13th, 11:05 p.m. I will ready a gun with which you will shoot one shot square in the forehead. You cannot refuse, and we both know the reason why. You can't refuse. Magnifi Grammary, why would he be able not to refuse? Although, could such a thing as a letter really cause one to pull a trigger, I wonder? I believe the answer to that question can be found at the end of the letter. Ah, you cannot refuse, and we both know the reason why. Detective Gumshoe, can you explain this to the court? Unfortunately, even the defendant won't say a peep about that bit, sir. One thing bothers me about this. Why didn't he just say 11? Why have him come at 11:05 without some specific reason? Yeah, Phoenix had noticed that. I didn't see that at first. The devil is in the details, her attorney. Well, was there some reason? As it turns out, there was. Every night for half an hour, starting at 11, the victim, Magnifi Grammary, was given an IV. An IV. There it is in the picture, out to the side of the bed. At 11, a doctor would come to set up the IV. 30 minutes later, he would come back for the empty bag. This happened every night without fail. So that was the only time they could meet without the chance of an untimely interruption. During his IV. Very well, shall we begin? Mr. Wright, your cross-examination if you would. What's his reason he couldn't refuse, I wonder? He could have at least mentioned it to me. Actually, the victim kind of ordered the defendant to do him in. Just because he got the letter doesn't mean he went through with it. Oh, I disagree. The victim was indeed shot in the forehead after all, just as he had commanded. It could be a setup. But let's not be in such a hurry. Maybe we should let the witness talk for a change. Thanks, pal. Fine, I can play it slow as well as I can play it fast. On with the testimony, Detective Gumshoe. A few days before it happened, the victim sent a letter ordering his own murder. And this letter was sent by the victim. There it is, gotcha. You're all mine this time, pal. Huh? I had the handwriting checked out, of course. It's the victim's, no mistake. Ah, I see. Ha 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 ha. Score 1 for the boys. I didn't lose, I was just ascertaining the facts. So why am I so annoyed? But a letter ordering your own death. Things aren't what they used to be, I guess. I'm not sure this is exactly commonplace, even now, Your Honor. So anyway, guess I'll keep going while I'm ahead. The defendant did what was asked of him and shot the old man in the forehead. How can you be so sure? Hey, you gotta learn to stop relying on people to do your thinking for you, pal. Learn to think for yourself, get that noggin cranking. You fail to grasp the concept of questioning, Detective. First, we got this letter. It says shoot in the forehead, loud and clear. I can see that, but I still wouldn't do it. Well, maybe you need to grow yourself a backbone, pal. You fail to grasp the concept of shooting people is bad, Detective. We also found the defendant's pistol at the scene. Traces of gunpowder residue shows that it has been fired recently. Well, Mr. Wright. As far as I can tell from looking at this photo, there seems to be no issue with the prosecution's claim. The photo, maybe there's something in there I can use. Well, they're saying the defendant shot the victim in the forehead. I think there's a hole in the prosecution's argument, clearly, Mr. Enigmar. Shot something else. Looking at this photo, another possibility occurs to me. Yes? What does the letter tell us? The defendant had a reason he couldn't refuse his teacher's wishes. Bingo, pal. That's why the defendant popped him one in the forehead. Oh, the defense disagrees. You see, the defendant had another choice he could make. What? And you can prove that with this photo? I can prove he had a choice, yes. The defendant might have fired like he was ordered, but he didn't shoot the victim's forehead. Well, let's hear what you're thinking, Mr. Wright. If he didn't shoot the victim's forehead, what did the defendant shoot? The clown. The clown doll? Take a closer look. See? Been shot in the forehead too. Ah, there's a hole in its forehead. Yes, and a hole in the prosecution's claim. Ah, and I suppose you have a reason as to why he'd shoot the clown doll. He didn't just shoot the doll. He shot the doll's forehead. His forehead? Ah. Let's read the orders once more, shall we? You will shoot one shot square in the forehead. Which is exactly what he did. He shot the clown doll square in the forehead. The defense has raised an intriguing possibility. That hole in the clown's forehead. It definitely looks like it was shot. Bailiff, send someone to investigate this matter. I admit, I'm impressed, but I expected nothing less. Still, this doesn't mean he didn't shoot the victim. Perhaps he did have to shoot a forehead, as ordered, but the letter says nothing about whose forehead. This was the only way he had to follow his orders without taking a life. The bullet a hole in the clown's doll forehead does demand an explanation. It might very well be a clue, yet Prosecutor Gavin is right. It alone does not prove the defendant's innocence. You cannot say for sure the defendant didn't shoot the victim. So sorry, Mr. Wright, how sad it is to see the mighty fall. How sad it is to see the novice's overconfidence. He doesn't realize just how big this little hole is going to get. Detective Gumshoe, please take this newfound fact into account as you continue your testimony. So what if he shot the clown? He still shot the victim, pal. So let me get this straight. You're saying my client first shot the clown and then shot the victim. Yay, not a bad summary, pal. More of a confirmation than a summary, but whatever. That was really more of a confirmation than a summary. But our defense attorney seems pleased enough with himself. Do these people ever miss a chance to mock me? Well, now that Mr. Wright's gotten to that out of his system, shall we continue with the testimony? I didn't have time to gather all the details before coming in here. This testimony might be my only source of information. Better pay attention, and read this letter carefully. You mean this pistol, the one in the crime scene photo? That's the one. It's a funny looking gun, so there's no mistaking it. We compared the bullet taken from the victim's skull with a bullet fired from this gun. The rifling marks on the bullet were a perfect match. So, you verified the murder weapon. In other words, you bet we did. This will definitely belong to the old man, sir. Why are you so certain? What pile of sand has your head been stuck in all this time, pal? You never heard of Zack and Valiant quick draw shoot 'em? Huh? What's that? One of the defendant's specialities. Zack and Valiant stand on either side of a girl. Is that right there? Is that Lamaror? That looks like Lamaror right there. Before she lost her memory, that looks a lot like her, even with the haircut too. That's Valiant on the left side. Then they shoot, but the bullets don't hit her. Instead, they hit everything else on stage. This is one of the pistols they used in their show. Got a great design, huh? The kids love it. Many boys and girls join the police because of that pistol, I hear. You know, that would explain a lot about the police force. Troop Grammary stopped doing that act a while ago. The old man held on to that pistol ever since. The court would like to see the pistol in question. You got it, sir. Here she is. Well, this truly is a blast from the past. It's a stage pistol for magic shows, see? But it can fire real bullets. It looks so much bigger in real life than on TV. Yeah, but it can only hold one round. By the way, the pistol's firing chamber is empty. And it shows traces of having been fired recently. So were any fingerprints found in the gun? Unfortunately, no. Of course, the defendant is known for wearing gloves. We might say that a lack of fingerprints is in fact a fingerprint of its own. Well, you can't really use that. You can't say, well, the defendant wears gloves a lot of times, so it's probably him. I mean, you don't have direct evidence that it was him. Aha, intriguing point, well made. Whoa, 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 not well made, not intriguing. In any case, the court accepts the evidence. Fires one real bullet, barrel marks match bullet found in victim. No fingerprints found. My grandchild will get a kick out of seeing this. But now it's time to return to our testimony. If you look closely, you can see how the pistol's made to bend here. It's a one-shot only model, and I guess this bend is where you load it. So this is the famous Grammary Golden Gun. They say kids used to love pretending they had one of these. I wonder if they prepared to miss their targets too. A single-shot pistol. Where do you load it from? Here? So what if he shot the clown? He still shot the victim, pal.
Objection!
The trickiest case often seems the simplest. Prosecutor Gavin, you missed a bullet hole in the clown's forehead. If you hadn't missed that, you might have come to a very different conclusion. Understand? Yeah, but like I said, pal. After he shot the clown in the forehead, he went and... It only fires one bullet. Did nothing of the sort to the victim. The pistol proves he could not. The murder weapon, how? It's quite simple, Your Honor. This pistol only holds one bullet at a time. Ah. If he had shot the clown in the forehead, He couldn't have shot the victim, too. Yeah, but Gavin will probably make the argument he could have loaded the gun. Here! That's not a contradiction, not even close. All he had to do was reload the pistol after the first shot. Oh? Where did he get the extra bullet? They're not so easy to come by, you know? If you claim the defendant had one ready, then prove to us how he got it. Ark. Hey, haha. I had a feeling this wasn't over yet. No, this party's just getting started. And I haven't proven anything yet beyond my good looks and startling record sales. And other lack of humility. What's this? It seems that the prosecution has another witness prepared. Like I said, her detective was just a warm-up act. Now that the audience has gotten a taste of what's to come, they're ready. Ready for what? For my decisive witness, of course. A witness who, you will find, can prove one thing for us. That it was Zach Gramarye who shot the victim in the forehead. Very well. We will pause for a 15-minute recess. This might be my lucky break. I'll need that 15-minute recess to talk to my client, Zach. Court is adjourned. Oh, okay, so it ends right here, then. Okay. So I guess we'll probably wrap it up here on this part, then, guys. We're getting to the bottom of this. This is getting kind of crazy now. Two different trials going on at once, but this is a trial from 7 years ago. So let me know what you guys think down below. If you guys enjoyed the part, do drop a like, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful day, guys.